Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you doing, dear viewers? I'm gonna take a time to pause real quick, and I'm gonna erase some of this information here and rewrite it. Hopefully, I don't have to restart the video again. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد. So today I'm going to start with the Muslim chart, and then I will go into the heavy and light version, and then I will be talking about what is flexible and what is not flexible. I'll just give you brief details. There's some things that you need to memorize as well. Like, for example, you're going to need to memorize the Muslim chart. This is crucial information that you need to memorize. I'm going to be talking about the masculine version and the feminine version. And I'll be talking about some words that are, in the English language, we have one and we have quantified 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and so forth. So anything over 1, they usually put what do they usually put over the word? Either go on books, they quantify it, but it's not specified to 2 books. In Arabic, two books is something very special, or anything that's quantified as 2. It's especially talking about 2. If it's talking about 1, it's talking about only 1. If it's talking about two or more, then it's talking about 2 or more. All right, let me explain. So I'll start with the first by labeling the rafa', the nasab, and the jar. If you looked at my past videos, you would probably know what a nasab, what a jar is, and what a rafa' is. For you, those who do not know, a rafa' comes as a subject. For example, the Muslims ate food. The Muslims ate. What did they eat? They ate food. So is the food the door? Is the food that's doing something? No, it's not. It is the Muslims was doing something. So the Muslims ate food. So this Muslim is a rafa'. It is a door. And I will be writing R, letter R, symbolizing rafa'. So another one is a detail. So what would be the detail? The Muslims ate food. Food would be the detail. What is ate then? Ate is fi'l. So but right now let's not focus on the fi'l, verb. Let's focus on the detail. Alright, how about if I said Sam gave the Muslims food. Again, the Muslims it's also a detail. And so forth. And then what if I said the house of the Muslims? That is rafa', that is jar. That is of the Muslims. Alright? So let's start by Muslimun. We will start by Muslimun. It's a rafa', so I'll put an R there. Muslimun. 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 Then the nasab, I'll place an N on N, identifying that this is a nasab. And it is Musliman. How do we know what a nasab is again? With the fathatayn or dhammatain, or this is the heavy version. And the light version, of course, we know it only carries 1. So but right now I'm writing as the heavy version. So now we have jar here. Muslimin. Alright? We have, I'm going to put a line here just so it separates. So we have the rafa, we have the nasab, we have the jar. We have muslimun, we have musliman, we have muslimin. I talked about if you're talking about the Muslims ate food, then you would use this muslimun because it's the door. The Muslims are doing the door, and you'll identify it that this is the door. If you said that that he gave the two Muslims something or something, he gave the two Muslims cake, then you would use the detail. Or if you say the house of the Muslims, the house of the Muslim. Of course, we're not saying it in a plural version because all this is what? This is all singular. They're all singular. They're one. They're quantified as one. So you'd only say the house of the Muslim. Technically saying the house of the one Muslim. And when you're saying the door, they know the Muslim, he ate food. I'm referring to one. Now let's go to dual here. This is the dual version. So the dual version will be muslimani. Muslimani. Again, it is muslimani. So this is muslimani. This is referring to dual. It's referring to two people. It's referring to how many people? It is referring to two people, two individuals. So you would say the Muslims ate food, and you see this word here. It actually means the two Muslims ate food. You know, the two Muslims, what did they eat? They ate food. So this is the door. This is the rafa. Now, muslimaini would be the nasab. And the nasab is the same as the jar. The only way you'll tell the difference is when it's analyzed in the sentence. When one analyzes it in the sentence. So this is muslimaini. Was it muslimaini? Yep, muslimaini. Muslimaini. And then same here. Muslimaini. Muslimaini. Okay? We have Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin, Muslimani, Muslimaini, Muslimaini. Alright? Again, this is all in the dual version. We have the nasab. What is the nasab? A version of Muslim. When you're talking about quantified to two, that's what is it? This is Muslimaini. It's right here. It's good to memorize this chart, so try memorizing it. Next one, we're talking about plural now. We're talking about more than two Muslims. How do we say this? Muslimuna. Muslimuna. How do you say it? Muslimuna. There we go. Muslimuna. Muslimuna. Now we're talking about this. So this is talking about the dur rafa. This is talking about the rafa version. It's talking about 3 Muslims, or even more than 2 Muslims, 4 Muslims, 5 Muslims, 6 Muslims. So this is known as Muslimuna. Muslimuna. Right? Now how about the nasab version? How about the jar version? What about those? So this is the nasab and the jar version would be muslimina. Muslimina. What is it? Muslimina. So there it is, Muslimina. And then the jar version is also the same thing, Muslimina. So this is what you have here, Muslimina. Let's go over the chart. Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin, Muslimani, Muslimaini, Muslimaini, Muslimuna, Muslimina, Muslimina. All right. Let's go over 5 times. Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin. مسلمان مسلمين مسلمين مسلمون مسلمين مسلمين مسلمون مسلما مسلمين مسلمان مسلمين مسلمين مسلمون مسلمين مسلمين مسلمون 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 مسلما مسلمين مسلمان مسلمان مسلمين مسلمين مسلمون مسلمين مسلمين. One more time. مسلمون مسلما مسلمين مسلمان مسلمين مسلمين مسلمون مسلمين مسلمين. Sometimes don't get confused between the dual and the plural version when you're talking about the nasab and the jar. It's often very confusing, and I understand. And because this here has a fatha on the meme, this one has a kasra. That's what is very different about these two. If you look real closely, you know, one of them has muslimaini, and the other one has muslimina. Just once you identify the difference between the fatha and the kasra, I think it'd be a lot more easier for you to understand. So get this in your mind, get this in your memory. The Muslim chart, all this is rafa. All these are doors. All right, it's talking about people. You know, it's talking about individuals. When you see this una at the end. So we could talk about some examples. I met two Muslims. So what would you use in this instance? That you're saying I met two Muslims. The door is I. What did you meet? Who did you meet? The individual met two Muslims. So what would you use? Muslimaini. That's correct. Muslimaini. It's masculine. We're talking about he met two male men. All right. Now let's say two male Muslims studied Arabic. Two male Muslims studied Arabic. What would you use here? Would use two Muslim males study. So the door is who? The door is two Muslims. In the sentence before, I met two Muslims. Two Muslims was the nasab. It was the detail. The two Muslims studied Arabic. The two Muslims is the door. So it's the rafa. All right. So you use muslimani. All right. This is the car of two Muslims. So this is the car of the two Muslims. The detail is, again, same thing, two Muslims. But this time, the two Muslims, it's not the rafa, it's the nasab. So what do you use? How do you say the two Muslims as a rafa, nasab? We talked about it, muslimaini. All right? And we talked about how the quantifications of the English language quantifies 1 and quantifies 2, 3, 4, 5 as something different. All right? Now let's go into the feminine case. All right. Now we'll do the same formula. We'll put the rafa as R, then N as jar, N as nasab, and the J as jar. And we'll start by saying muslimatun. Muslimatun. Again, it's muslimatun. Right? This is what we have. Muslimatun. It's referring to the door. She, the door. The two Muslims, again, the two Muslims studied Arabic. I mean, one Muslim studied Arabic. It's a feminine Muslim. So one woman studied Arabic. This is Muslim. Muslimatun. Now muslimatan. Muslimatun, muslimatan. Now, I'm going to circle something. I'm going to circle two things here. I'm circling the ta marbuta, meaning it's the ta that's closed, the closed ta. And then I'm looking at the dhammatain. You see the dhammatain there? And then right here, there's the ta here. And on top of the ta, there's a fathatain. There's two fathas. It's not one, it's not single, and you would come to know that this is heavy. Had it been singular, had it been light, it would have only one fatha. Now let's go to the jar. The jar now we have it's muslimatin. All right. So you have rafa', nasab, and jar. Amongst these rafa', nasab, and jar, you have muslimatun, you have muslimatan, you have muslimatin. You see, you have the top, you have the rafa', you have the nasab, you have the jar. The book, what is it? The book of the Muslims. The book of the Muslim. The book of the Muslim. So you're talking about basically saying the book of the Muslima, the muslimatin, and it's referring to feminine. It's talking about the feminine version. Now let's go to the dual version. So for dual we have muslimatani. What is it? Muslimatani. Muslimatani. So muslimatani. I'm going to put R right next to it and identify it as rafa'. It is the door. It's talking about two Muslims did this. So two Muslims ate food. Two Muslims read Quran. It's too feminine. It's female. So we know it's female because all this is feminine. So it's muslimatani. And this is in the dual version. The next one will be muslimataini. Muslimatani. So it'd be the same thing for the jar. Same thing. But the only way we can identify what is how it comes in the sentence. So this is also muslimataini. It's muslimataini, alright? And I'm going to put a nasab right next to this, and as a nasab, and I'm going to put a j right next to it. Just to identify that it is a nasab, rafa' and jar. So we have muslimataini here, and I'm going to mark here so we can start our next plural. So we have muslimatun, muslimatan, muslimatin, we have muslimatani, we have muslimataini, we have muslimataini. We have the rafa', we have the nasab, we have the jar. Alright? But this is in the dual version. It's talking about two people. When it comes in a sentence, you're referring to two individuals. So let's go to the detail. Let's make it a detail. Alright? Let's say I met two Muslim females, or I met two Muslims. You would use muslimatani. No, this is a detail. Excuse me. You would use muslimataini because I met two Muslims. I is the door. Two Muslims would be the detail. So you would use muslimataini because you're talking about two people. If you had it been one person, you would say muslimatani. If had it been one person, you would say muslimatan instead of muslimataini. All right, now let's go to the plural version. We have muslimatun. So we have muslimatun. Yep, that's right. Muslimatun. We have muslimatun. This would be the rafa' version. And am I talking about one individual? Am I talking about two individuals? Or am I talking about more than two individuals? Or am I talking about three individuals? Yes, I'm talking about more than two individuals. This is the plural version of it. So it's called muslimatun. All right, muslimatun. All right, get that in your head. All right, meaning memorize it. Next thing you know is it's called muslimatin. What do we have in muslimatin? Muslimatin. Muslimatin. What is this? Muslimatin. This is muslimatin. If you can see the camera, if you're able to see here, I have this as muslimatin. As you can see, the meme, the sin, the lam, the meme, you know, and an alif and the ta with the kasratain here. And if you have the nasab, it's the same thing goes for the jar. Only way we can identify what is when it comes in the sentence. Muslimatin. Alright? So what do we have? Let's go over this. Alright? Muslimatun, muslimatan, muslimatin, muslimatun, muslimatin, muslimatin, muslimatani, muslimataini, muslimataini, muslimatun, muslimatin, muslimatin. Alright? Muslimatun, muslimatan, muslimatin, muslimatani, muslimataini, muslimataini, muslimatun, muslimatin, muslimatin. Again, muslimatun, muslimatan, muslimatin, muslimatani, muslimataini, muslimataini. Again, muslimatun, muslimatin, muslimatin. You understand the basic concept here? We keep saying it again over and over and over so we could memorize it. So you could memorize it. And this is the feminine case. So this is always going to be talking about feminine. It's not going to be talking about masculine, male, or so forth. Because when he's talking about the masculine, if you go back to the other chart, there's some words that are feminine too. They're both masculine and feminine. But here, this is the feminine chart. So all this is what? It is all feminine. Alright? So usually when you see the una and the ina, you're talking about people. You're talking about individuals. Alright? And then the ta here, the ta we know as the ta is the ta for the female ta. And sometimes you'd see the female ta on something that's other than individuals, other than someone that is akhal. Sometimes you see it as a thing, you know, as a thing. For example, or you might see it as ayah. For example, ayatun or ayatin, you know, and so forth. Samawatin, you know, it's feminine. But is it really a female? Of course it's not. It's just, this is how they, the Arabs talk. You know, she's this, she's that, and it's referring to a sky, or it's referring to the ayah, and so forth. All right. Now let's get into Musliman. We talked about the endings of the chart, and then we're going to be going into something different now. We're going to be going into light versus heavy. So light versus heavy. For example, Musliman, Muslimin, Muslimun. You know, this is all light. You know, it consists of only one dhamma, consists of only one fatha, and only consists of one kasra. So this is light. However, if you see like in, or an, this is telling us that this is heavy. What is it? It's heavy. Alright? For example, we all recite the Fatiha. When we start with the Fatiha, we always recite Bismi. And if you look at Bismi, the noun that follows the preposition has a kasra. And it doesn't have two kasras. It has only what? One kasra. So this is, what is it? It's light. Alright? It's light. Give you another example. Alhamdu. Hold up, we don't know what alhamdu is. Do we know what alhamdu is? The praise and thanks. So, there's an exception for the words that have alif and lam followed by the noun. Then regard this heavy and light thing, regard it. However, if it's hamdun and it has two dhammas, then what is it? It is a heavy. It is heavy. If it's hamdu, it is light. Right? Now let's talk about flexible. What is flexible? All right. What is flexible and what is not flexible? Okay. So you have this custom. You're a custom builder. You can customize it however you want. However you want to customize your building. You know, you can customize it, make it look nice. You don't follow no rules. You don't follow jurisdictions and so forth. Or no. And so forth. You can do whatever you want to do. You know, you can put a fatha. You can put a cut. You can put a tan. You can put a tin. You can put a tun on whatever you want. You know, just giving an analogy out there. And then now you have something that you can't. You have some the city comes in and tells you, you know, you have to have this window at a certain height. You can only have this window at 36 inches, and it has to be from the seal plate to the top plate. You know, you can't this and that. You know, and they tell you, you know, this is the rule here. So you know you got some rules. You know, your door can be only 30 foot wide. You know, it can only be 8 foot high. You know, this is what the city tells you to do. You know, so you're partly for, but the city tells you can go ahead and, you know what, do what you want to do to the living room and to the bedroom and so forth. So you kind of have some flexibility here, but you also you're a bit tight in. So you're not too flexible. Some Arabic words are like that. You know, some of them get a fatha, some of them get a dhamma, but it doesn't get a kasra. It gets a fatha. You know, why? You know, it happens like that. You know, some of them are fully flexible. You can build it how you want. You customize however you want to customize your building. You know, and that's fully flexible. But sometimes you have rules. You know, and this is what the Arabs, they put these rules in. You know, and then there's a third one that everything is by the book. You know, the inspector is here. You know, all the codes are there. You know, you have no room to customize anything. You know. And do anything. You're going straight by the book. You know, no. You know, you can't. You have to have your harnesses on. You know, what is a harness? When you're on the roof, you know, you have to have some kind of equipment on you that, you know, that protects you from fall protection systems. So that protects you from falling down and hitting the ground. You know, while you're fully flexible, you don't need all that. You know, you're fully flexible. But there's some words that are like that. You know, and so forth. And fully flexible words. Let's go to this one. The ones that have the code, like for example, they can customize whatever they want to customize. You know, they can have the living room looking different. You know, they can change some things here. You know, they can probably increase the height of the walls or the doors. But you know, they have but there are certain areas that, you know, you can't do what you got to do. You know, it has to follow codes. So this is, what is it? This is partially flexible. For example, Zainabu. This is a feminine name. All right. So Zainumu in the nasab, in the jar, and in the rafa' consists of Zainabu would be the rafa', because we know the dhamma is the rafa'. Zainaba would be the nasab, and then Zainaba would be the jar. Actually, I thought Zainaba was a nasab because it has a fatha. Technically, yeah. However, I thought it's supposed to have a kasra, you know? Yeah. But in this case, it doesn't. It has a fatha and it's a jar. So this is an exception because it's partly flexible. Alright? Other words include Yusuf. We know Prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him. Same thing goes for you, Prophet Yusuf. Yusuf can't have his house customized as he wants. He can't have this door looking like this. You know, you can't have you know, your living room looking huge. You know, your walls sheeted in a different style. You know, and all this laminate and all this thing. Yusuf can't do that. Yusuf, the city has to come to Yusuf and tell them, you know what, your windows have to be 36 inches from the ground up. Your door has to be 8 feet wide, 8 feet high, and 3 feet high. But however, we'll let you flex on your bedroom. Do what you want to do in your bedroom. So it's partly flexible. So Yusuf, that's how it is. Yusufu has a dhamma. Yusufa has a fatha. Yusufa as a nasab has a fatha. And a jar has a fatha. It's supposed to have a kasra. But in this case, it's Yusufu, Yusufa, Yusufa. All right, it's because it's partly flexible. I talked about the three scenarios, didn't I? So you one who can customize, one who can has some limits, but it's still flexible. And there's one that you got to go by the book, you know, and so forth. He has inspectors and everything like that. All right, so we talked about partly flexible words. All right, these partly flexible words like Yusuf, they cannot be heavy. So it cannot be Yusufun or Yusufan or Yusufan. You know, it can't be that. You know, it has to be light, and light, it has to have one kasra or one dhamma. It must be light. It must be light. You know, they can't accept the kasra. They can't accept the kasra. You know, it's unacceptable. You know, just like in construction, if you build something, customize it, you can have the inspector come and tell you to take that stuff out, man. You know, what are you doing? You're not doing it by the code. You know, just like that, it's unacceptable. The Arabs did not accept kasra to be there on some words, and so forth. These includes mainly prophets from Bani Israel. They are also included in this partly flexible. You know, you can kind of customize it, but you still got to go by the books. This is how the Arabs said. Because they said so, you know, like other prophets, let's give an example, Bani Israel, as prophets like from the Hebrews, Sulaiman alayhi salam, or Dawood alayhi salam, they are also part of these, you know, and other ones like Ibrahim. Ibrahim is not an Arab word, or Ismail, you know, they are from different, Adam, and also and all this, you know, you go by Adamu, Adama, and Adama, not Adami. You don't say that, you know. And Sulaiman, Sulaimana, Sulaimuna, Sulaimina. This, it's not. Jibril, it also includes angels too. You know, some angels, angels also get this. Jabrilu, Jabrila, Jabrila, instead of getting Jabrili. So Jibril cannot customize his house as he wants. He has some restrictions on his house too. And so we see this a lot. You know, the door coming in, you know. So I'll be stopping at this time at this area here. So we're stopping at where the flexible, the full flexible, partly flexible, and fully flexible. We talked about what is flexible and what is not flexible, and what is fully flexible. You know, there's some words that aren't flexible at all. You know, it has to be as is. And we talked about the heavy and light. You know, so the kasras and the fathas and dhammatain. We went over the Muslim chart. You know, I told you guys to memorize that chart. We talked about the feminine and the male chart. So it's a good thing to memorize it. Alhamdulillah. So I'm going to leave it at that at this moment. So, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.